And it's a very good morning to the Gelding on an overcast day where I am, Gelding. And once again, no metropolitan meeting. And today we've got a meeting at Ballarat Cup Day. Your thoughts on no metropolitan meeting 2 weeks in a row? Is that good for racing?
My view, Professor, and good morning to the listeners. Look, I prefer city meetings. All that. These courses are now developing. Cranbourne, Ballarat, Mornington, Pakenham. Pakenham will get a standalone meeting on the 4th of December. The idea is to rest metropolitan tracks. You got a facility out there called Sandown, which was used on Wednesday, Professor, with 2 tracks on it. I don't know. Is it hardly used anymore?
It's not used very often, Gelding.
No. There's normally a couple of meetings at Sandown at the end of the Spring Carnival. That meeting seems to have been dropped in favour of these country cups, Professor. These country cups used to be used as lead-up races for the Melbourne Cup for horses to qualify, prize money and distance ranges. But now there's been a switch. I prefer it the old way, but it is what it is, Professor. I find them very hard days, punting-wise. You look at the Ballarat Cup today, and $500,000 race, 2,000 metres. Geez, there's about 6 or 7 chances in it, Professor. So all it's done is force me to leave it alone because I don't think it's a punting proposition. So, I've lost interest because it's a country meeting, which is good, and, go along with it. But, races, 6, 7, 8, 9, you got big fields, Professor, and plenty of chances. So, look, if you find winners, you get great value. But if you don't, quite easy to drop a few $100s quite easily, Professor.
All right, Gelding. The track is currently rated a soft 5. Rain is predicted later in the day, so that may affect later races. The rail's in the true position. There's 10 races on the card with, as you say, the feature race being the Ballarat Cup. It's a listed race for $500,000. So that sort of prize money can't be sneezed at, Gelding. Oh,
it's fantastic prize money, Professor. And the Ballarat Racing Club are doing a fantastic job, Professor. They're building up the course. It's become, with Caulfield closing down shortly, you're finding a lot of trainers are going out to these country zones. You've got Mar Eustace who are at Caulfield. They've now got their satellite stable at Ballarat, and probably may become their main one apart from Warrnambool. You got Tony McAvoy out there, so Noblet's already moved from Caulfield out there, so you're getting a lot. Mick Price, Michael Kent moving from Caulfield. They'll be at Cranbourne in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. Again, another thing, Professor.
Yes, Gelding. The only thing that keeps going is change.
Yeah. Someone's always sitting there thinking of some way. So the fabric of Caulfield around that area, where there's always been stables for as long as we can remember, and probably for the last century, there's probably going to be more student flats, Professor, I suppose. More parking problems. The same as Caulfield have built the towers or the ghettos of Caulfield next to the racetrack. I don't know.
It won't be anything good, Gelding.
Oh, it'll be housing, Professor. Yeah. It'll be,
it'll be high density housing.
Yeah. Some developer will do it and make some good money out of it. And, I just think it takes away the flavour of that part of Caulfield, Professor, which is well known as being a training centre and providing heaps of employment for around this area.
Yes, Gelding, definitely. All right. What are your two best bets for today's race meeting?
Well, Professor, it could be the Kieran Maher, David Eustace meeting today at Ballarat, where they've got their stables. I like a horse they've brought out from US of A, Lighthouse in the first, Professor. They thought they'd give it a run just to see how it went. First up, they took it up to, where did they take it? Kyneton, Professor, in a benchmark 84 on a heavy 8, and just won by the conservative 3.5 lengths each down on the line. So it looked very impressive, Professor. 3 scratchings from a 9-horse race, which is pretty disappointing. I think we can get off away to an early start with race 1, number 4, Lighthouse.
You didn't look at Frankie Pino?
Looked at Frankie Pino.
A terrific horse, terrific name for a horse, Gelding.
Fantastic name for a horse, even though I like one in race 3, Professor, number 8. I think it might be the best name of the day. If you like it.
Which one's that, Gelding?
Race 3, number 8. Do you want to tell the listeners?
I haven't got it in front of me.
Only here for the beer. So if you want an all up, you can have Frankie Pino into Only Here for the Beers. So all a bit of fun. No, I think that's a danger to Lighthouse, Professor. But this could be a very good horse. Also, Mick Price's Caribou could be a danger as well. So, look, I think this horse may be better than this grade, Professor. So, you know, it's 130,000 benchmark 84. I think if it runs to its last run, we may be looking at a black type of horse. So happy to stick with that and hopefully build a bank.
All right, and your other selection, Gelding?
Well, Professor, I did like Marine One in the last, but it's been scratched. So I've gone for what I thought was one of the wins of the carnival, and I'm surprised this horse isn't in the field for the Ballarat Cup, actually. Race 7, number 5, Alcyon. Now, I'm testing out a theory of mine, Professor. It's the Blue Army. Damien Oliver aboard, who's doing a lot of their riding, and the horse's favourite. So a bit of trepidation in picking it, but it won so well over the carnival. I think it can back up. I think the danger to it may also be number 2, Silent Sovereign. Excuse me, Professor. But the way Alcyon won over the carnival, very impressive. So I like the 2 today. Race 1, number 4, Lighthouse, into race 7, number 5, Alcyon, Professor.
2 very good.
And you like?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go not as early as you, of course, race 1, but race 5, the Tonks Plate handicap over 1,200 metres. It's an open race. I like horse 1 in that race, Gelding, Serious Suspect, coming out of barrier 2. Its last race was a listed race and it ran second to Quantico. Prior to that, you could say I think it wasn't really in form, but I think that might have brought it back to form. Being ridden today by John Allen, a good jockey, 15% win rate over his career, and trained, Gelding, by a trainer we don't mention very often on this show, Saab Hassan from Flemington.
Yes, who we've met, Professor.
Yes.
At Caulfield races. Yeah, a good trainer, and he's apparently brought a big farm up in Tabilk, Professor, and training from there, which is up around the Euroa area.
In the wine country, Gelding.
Wine country and horse area, Professor. So a very, very forward move for him. So I hope the horse runs very, very well for him, Professor. More of a horse we've backed at Flemington down the straight.
Yes, Gelding, yes. But I think it might have its number here today. It might have the number of the other runners in the field. My other selection, Gelding's race 6 in the A-grade sheds. I tell you what, when the race is named the A-grade sheds, Gelding, you've got to be in the country, don't you?
You got to be in the bush. You got to be in the bush.
Yeah, benchmark 70 over 1,100 metres. I like horse 8, and you and I both agree on this one, Gelding. Marabi coming out of barrier 1. Hasn't put a foot wrong. 3 starts, 3 wins. It's over its first 2 races, its winning margin, average winning margin was 6.5 lengths. So it's a very good horse. It's resuming from a short spell. Its first up form, obviously very good, 1 from 1. Ridden by young jockey Ben Allen.
Yep.
And trained by, as you said, Mar Eustace. So I don't think you can go past that one. $2.30, pretty good value in that race, Gelding.
Oh, Professor, as we said, this is, again, when we both came up with the bets of the day, this was it. Mar Eustace wouldn't be keeping a 5-year-old mare for 3 starts. So it's obviously had some problems, but they wouldn't keep it unless it had some serious ability, Professor. So any horse that has only 3 starts and it's a 5-year-old and it's won all 3 of them, geez, that's good enough for me. Trained by the leading trainers at Ballarat, by the leading sire, I'm Invincible. So if you haven't got a Snitzel, Professor, you get I'm an Invincible. So, or a Zusa. But, yeah, look, open race, big field. Savannah Cloud's another horse that I like in a Professor, trained by Phil Stokes. But this thing just may be a little bit special. A bit like Lighthouse in the first Professor. I think this is a horse that can go to a higher grade.
Well, we hope it is special today, Gelding.
Well, Professor, that may be around about the $2, but as we said, these parlays start to add up, and after coming off a parlay at Geelong last Sunday, they're good value.
They certainly are, Gelding. All right, the Professor's Parlay, the very successful Professor's Parlay. We've already still got a parlay going from Wednesday's meeting, Gelding.
Talking about successful parlays, Professor, you've been on fire lately, so just pat yourself on the back, and I hope the listeners are following you on this, and I hope they remember that come Christmas time.
Well, we hope so, Gelding. Our fingers will be crossed. All right, so the agreed bet of the day, and we've already mentioned it, race 6, horse 8, Marabi. Let's parlay that into Manchester City at home to beat Everton. Manchester City sitting second in the Premier League at the moment. 11 starts for 7 wins, 2 draws, a goal difference of plus 16, showing $1.16 in a 2-horse race at home, Gelding. That's not too bad, especially when you're sitting on top, when you're sitting second on the ladder. And Everton, a little bit disappointing this season. I thought they'd be higher than they are. They're 11th at the moment. Only 4 wins from 11 starts. And in a 2-horse race, Gelding showing $16. So I don't think the bookies don't think that Manchester City's going to lose.
Well, I think it's an incredible odds, Professor. 16% on your money in a 2-horse race. As you said, they're 16-1 to win. The draws, I don't know what the draw is, Professor, but you would think Man City would just run over the top of them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would have thought so, Gelding. I would have thought
I think it'll be a 3. I think it'll be 3-zip or something like that, Professor. So, let's hope.
Yeah. Let's parlay that, Gelding, into the surprise packet, some might say, in the NFL this season, the Tennessee Titans. They're currently sitting first in the AFC division. 10 starts for 8 wins, Gelding. So that's pretty good. Points differential of plus 46, showing $1.22 on the tote. And I think they'll beat Houston, who are last in the AFC. One win from 9 starts. They've got a points differential of minus 130. So I think the Tennessee Titans look pretty good. They're also playing at home, Gelding. So the parlay showing the nice odds of 7-2.
Oh, beautiful, Professor. I think in that NFL game, there is that catch cry, Houston, we have a problem. So at the moment, so I think we'll make up with that with the Tennessee Titans, Professor. And again, nice juicy odds of 7-2. So let's hope some of these listeners who have been on the very successful Professor's Parlay continue to be, Professor.
Yes,
and
Gelding,
are rewarded.
Yes, Gelding, and the Professor's Parlay from Wednesday still alive with in race number 5, horse 4, Ruru Saluting. Very happy with that, and we've parlayed that one into Manchester City and the Tennessee Titans as well. So if Marabi can get up today, that'll be 2 parlays, Gelding.
Oh, very good, Professor. Pat yourself on the back for that one.
All right, Gelding. Well, a couple of things. Sports Fan Radio tomorrow at midday. You're still in the side, which is
still in the side, Professor. Yeah, I haven't been dropped.
No, you're still in, Gelding. And another special guest following up Grant Thomas from last week, and that was a terrific show.
Fantastic show.
He makes a lot of sense, Grant Thomas, doesn't he?
Analytical. That's the way I thought that was. He just said, "We've got that here. You know, it's not working for us. Let's try this." That's probably why he was successful when he coached them, and probably why he was so successful in business. So I found it very interesting listening, Professor, and I must congratulate you on the guests that we've been having on board. You're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Gelding. Some help too from John O'Callaghan, who the judge keeps coming up with some ideas. When I'm bereft of them, which is unusual, he'll usually throw one in the pot. And here's one in the pot for this week, who we've managed to secure. The Reverend Tim Costello coming on to talk about gambling, Gelding. So that's a subject near and dear to your heart.
Well, should I be on the show, Professor?
But Gelding, I don't think the Reverend Costello wants all gambling banned. I think he thinks, I think he understands that won't happen. But I think we're going into a deep dive as to, should it be allowed on AFL? Should there be these explicit bets? Poker machines? There's plenty to discuss with him.
Oh, look, Professor, I agree with a lot of the views, and I think there's too much gambling around. And from my point of view, as I've kind of passed on to the younger generations, is to bet properly, and you don't have to have a bet on everything. Like, I can go to a meeting and just, have 2 or 3 bets, Professor, and then enjoy the day. Have your bets early, then go and enjoy the day. You don't have to have a bet. I know people, in my family that if they go to the races, will have a bet in every race in 4 different race meetings. And to me, that's not, you can't win like that. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to punt to win, not punt to lose. So not to have a bet, But anyway, I kind of agree with a lot of his things. And look, I'll tell you, I only punt basically on the horses. Don't punt on the football, apart from, say, friendly bets, the beers or a bottle of wine or something like that. And at the casino, very rarely go to the casino. We'll probably go there once or twice a year when it was open. So, you just got to be a bit responsible.
Yeah, definitely, Gelding. Well, very interesting guest for tomorrow at midday, the Reverend Tim Costello. And so until next Saturday at the unusual time of 9:30, Gelding.
Yes, thank you, Professor.
It's good luck.